Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanvanda Maravindanalaya Taksham Bhagavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundaranam Kandar Bhako Vikamaniya Vishesha Shobha
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Andani Yasa Sakalem Priya Priti Manti Lasyan Dipan Dikayanti Jiram Yaganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam
Shri Radha Vallabh, Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra, Srila Prabhupada and all assembled devotees. Daily score report for Friday, 21st of July, 2023. Book distributed yesterday. Vasudev Sankarshan Prabhu, 1 small, 2 medium, 1 big, 2 maha big for 6.25 book points. Jayat Prabhu, 7 small, 1 medium, 4 Maha Big for 10.25 book points. Total 8 small, 3 medium, 1 big, 6 Maha Big for 16.50 book points. Preaching score yesterday, Radhe Chai Bar 90 guests for 1074 Lakshmi points. Gopal's 253 guests for 3038 Lakshmi points. Crossways 407 guests for 3460 Lakshmi points. Lakshmi liberated yesterday, Vasudev Sankarshan Prabhu 65, Temple Shop 105, Jayat Prabhu 116, member services 4561. That's a daily total of 4847 Lakshmi points and a weekly running total of 25,337 Lakshmi points. Sankirtan Yagya ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kibala Bhakti Sadma Shri Guru Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Shri Guru Bandha Mohi Savadana Mate Bandha Bandha Mohe Sabodhana Mate Jahara Prasadeva Ye Baba Toriya Jai Jahara Jahara Prasadeva Ye Baba Toriya Jai Jai Krishna Prapti Hoy Jaha Hoy Te Krishna Prapti Krishna Prapti Hoy Jaha Hoy Te Krishna Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitata Koriya Vakya Guru vakya chitte koriya vakya guru arana koriya mane asa arana arana koriya mane asa arana Shri Guru Charane Rate Yehe Se Utama Gati Shri Guru Shri Guru Charane Rate Yehe Se Utama Gati Shri Jai Prasade Pura Sarma Asa Jai Prasade Jai Prasade Pura Sarma Asa Jai Chakurana dilo de janm jan mein Prabhu se chakuran Chakurana dilo de janm jan mein Prabhu se chakuran Devagani de prakashita Devagani Divagana Hide Prakashita Divagana Prema Bhakti Jaha Vaite Abhijabe Nasayate Prema Bhakti Prema Bhakti Jaha Vaite Abhijabe Nasayate Prema Bhakti Evdega jahara torita Evdega jahara torita Evdega Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adavada Naravanda Shri Guru Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adavada Naravanda Shri Guru Lokna Loke Rajevana Lokna Loke Rajevana Ha Prabhu Kuru Daya De Hamare Pada Chaya Ha Prabhu Ha Prabhu Kuru Daya De Hamare Pada Chaya Evdedas Guste Tribhuvana Evdedas Evdedas Guste Tribhuvana Evdedas Ha Prabhu Kara Daya De Hamare Pada Choya Ha Prabhu Kara Daya De Hamare Pada Chaya Hridaya Dehamare Padachaya Prabhu If the das guste Tribhuvana If the das Prabhupada Pachita Pavana Srila Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada 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 Srila Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Srila Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada 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 Srila Prabhupada Jaya Jai Jai Prabhupada 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 Jai 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 Prabhupada 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 Jai Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Śrīmad Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitya Namine Nama Vishnu Padaya Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Sunyavadi Vasachadi Satarine Namaste Saraswati Devi Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Godada Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivedanta Jaya Shri Bhaktivedanta Jaya Shri Krishna Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Godada Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivedanta Jaya Shri Ne Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Gaura Hare, Nitai Gauranga. Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Gaura Hare, Nitai Gauranga. Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana, Gaura Hare. Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hare, Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hare, Gaura, Gaura. Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hare, Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hare, Gaura. Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Gaura Hare, Nitai Gauranga. Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Gaura Hare, Nitai Gauranga. Nitai Gaur Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo. Nitai Gaur Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Bol. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Netai Gaur Haribo, Haribo, Netai Gaur Haribo. Netai Gaur Haribo, Nitai Gauru Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gauru. Jai Radha Vallabha, Radha Vallabha Sri Radhe, Jai Radha. Jai Radha Vallabha, Radha Vallabha Sri Radhe, Jai Radha. Jaya Jagannatha, Jagannatha, Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Jagannatha. Jaya Jagannatha, Jagannatha, Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai. Jai Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Jai. Prabhupada ki.
जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य श्रोत्र श्री श्री माधवाचार्य नारविंद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। जय अमृति लीला प्रविष्ट विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की श्री वृंदावन धाम की श्री नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की गंगा मई के यमुना मई के भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी के श्री श्री गौरनिताय के श्री श्री राधा वल्लभ के श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रमयी के हरिनाम संकीर्तन के मेलबर्न महाप्रभु मंदिर के पुरुषोत्तम मंथ की जय। पुरुषोत्तम मास की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glorious assembled devotees, all glorious assembled devotees, all glorious assembled devotees, all glorious Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glorious. Boys,
I can't, he's the striker on the team, right?
okay, boys. Move out of the
Krishna, Krishna, can you pass me the other karta, the smaller one? Yeah. Please. हाँ ये सही है, वो तो आपके लिए बिग Sivya. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girvaradhari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girvaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachariya Yamunatira Vanachariya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, Jai Jai Prabhupada. Jayam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Stotra Sata Śrīmad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada ki, Shri Shri Gaura Nityaya ki, Shri Shri Radha Vallabha ki, Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subramaniya ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrindi ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna. So with the blessings of His Grace Prana Prabhu, I will endeavor to say something. It's a little bit awkward, Prabhu, for you to be sitting there and for me to be sitting here, and Mahatma Prabhu as well. Please bless me so that I can say something that is useful. With that, I'm scheduled today, so I have to speak something. And Sukdev Prabhu as well. So many senior devotees here. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we are reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 7, chapter number 7, that's 7, yeah, 7.7, text number 35. I know I'm getting old because I have to lift Bhāgavatam to be able to see it now. There was a time, when you could see it very clearly, but as we approach 50, it becomes harder to read actually. Yada graha grasta iva kvachid dhassati. Yada graha grasta iva kvachid dhassati. Akrandate dhyayati vandate janam. Akrandate dhyayati vandate janam. Muhushvasan bhakti hare jagatpate. Muhushvasan bhakti jagat. Muhushvasan bhakti hare jagatpate. Narayanayetyaatmamatirgata trapaha. Narayanetyaatmamatirgata trapaha. Yada graha grastaiva kvachid dhasati. Akrandate dhyayati vandate janam. Muhushvasan bhakti hare jagatpate. Narayananeti atmamatirgata trapaha. Yada graha grahastaiva kvachid dhasati. Akrandate dhyayati vandate janam. Muhushvasan bhakti hare jagatpate. Narayanayeti atmamatirgata trapaha. See if you can keep the melody, yeah? If possible. Yada graha grastaiva kvachid dhasati. Akrandate dhyayati vandate janam. Muhushvasan bhakti hare jagatpate. Narayananeti atmamatirgata trapaha. Yada graha grastaiva kvachid dhasati. Akrandate dhyayati vandate janam. Muhushvasan bhakti hare jagatpate. Narayananeti atmamatirgata trapaha. Graha grahasta iva kvachid dhasati. Akrandate dhyayati vandate janam. Muhushvasan bhakti hare jagatpate. Narayananeti atmamatirgata trapaha. Mataji? Yada graha grastaiva kvachid dhasati. Akrandate dhyayati vandate janam. Muhu swasan bhakti hare jagatpate. Narayananeti atmamatir gatatrapaha. Yada graha grastaiva kvachidhasati. Akrandate dhyayati vandate janam. Muhu swasan bhakti hare jagatpate. Narayananeti atmamatir gatatrapaha. Boys here? None of you? Yada graha grastaiva kvachidhasati. Akrandate dhyayati vandate janam. Muhushvasan bhakti hare jagatpate. Narayananeti atmamatir gatatrapaha. Yada, when graha grastaha, haunted by a ghost. Iva, like. Kvachit, sometimes. Hasati, laughs. Akrandate, cries loudly. Remembering the transcendental qualities of the Lord. Dhyayati, meditates. Vandate, offers respects. Janam, to all living entities. Thinking all of them to be engaged in the service of the Lord. Muhu, constantly. Swasan, breathing heavily. Bhakti, he speaks. Hare, O my Lord. Jagatpate, O Master of the whole world. Narayana, O Lord Narayana. Iti, thus. Atma matihi, fully absorbed in the thoughts of the Supreme Lord. Gata trapaha, without shame. Okay, there were these two synonyms here. Muhu, constantly, and swasan, breathing heavily. Muhu swasan. Did anything come to mind? Damodar, yeah, that came to mind. Muhu swasa kampa, yeah, Trirekha ka kanta. That also came to my mind. So those two words are used there actually. Muhu and swasan. And that is in the third line, right? Muhu swasan bhakti hare jagatpate. So breathing very heavily and chanting Hare Krishna. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Translation. When a devotee becomes like a peasant haunted by a ghost, he laughs and cries very loudly, chants about the qualities of the Lord. Sometimes he sits to perform meditation and he offers respects to every living entity, considering him a devotee of the Lord. Constantly breathing very heavily. Constantly breathing very heavily. What's that in Sanskrit? Constantly breathing very heavily, he becomes careless and of social etiquette and loudly chants like a madman. Hare Krishna, O my Lord, O Master of the universe. Purport. When one chants the holy name of the Lord in ecstasy, not caring for outward social conventions, it is to be understood that he is Atma Mati. In other words, his consciousness is turned towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, that was a very, very short purport from Prabhupada, yeah? But we will speak on that only. I was so tempted to actually go to the next verse as well and pinch it from the lecturer tomorrow. But I thought that would be probably not the best of etiquettes. So there is one line and we'll have half an hour discussion on that one purport. Om Agyanyati Mirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशातारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. So, we are speaking on Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 7, Chapter number 7, Text number 35, as we have seen. So, let's just put this into the storyline of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. What is happening is that in the previous chapter, Maharaj Parikshit is telling his schoolmates about Krishna consciousness. He's opened up a Bhakti Vriksha in his classroom. That's what Parikshit Maharaj has done. And it's a school of atheism, it's not a school of devotion. There are a lot of demoniac nature of his students. Prahlad Maharaj is the only sober person. And to add more miseries or to add more adversities to the situation, the teachers are also demoniac in nature. Who were the teachers? Sanda and Amarka, They had nothing left in their right brain. And there was nothing right in their left brain. So, they were demoniac teachers in a demoniac school with demoniac students. And one person stands out and he's trying to preach. Very difficult situation. So when Maharaj Parikshit is, Prahlad Maharaj is preaching to this kind of audience, for those of us who may have gone through Bhakti Vriksha experiences or preaching to somebody somewhere, sometimes it is not so easy, But imagine preaching in this kind of situation, when everybody is so demoniac in nature. It's quite challenging, to be honest. So in any case, when Prahlad Maharaj is doing his preaching, at one point in time, at the end of the last chapter actually, the students ask Prahlad Maharaj, how do you know all this? These are his schoolmates. And they are saying, hey mate, you know and we know that you grew up here in this environment under the jurisdiction of Hiranyakashipu, and we know there are only two teachers here, and their doctrine has been completely something else, and we have mingled with you, we have played with you, we have seen you growing up. Where did you get all this from? And that time there was no WhatsApp and Facebook and TV and all that for even Prahlad Maharaj to have any kind of let's say secret or separate kind of classroom going, online teaching. He didn't have any online access either. No COVID those days. Or maybe there was. I don't know. So how did you know all this? It's a pretty good question, to be honest. Sometimes we get caught out like this as well. When we are preaching Bhakti Vriksha or something, somebody will stand up. How do you know all this? And then we go, okay, Prabhupada has taught us, in Bhagavad. So we have to come up with an answer that is much more logical and practical to that situation. So what does Prahlad Maharaj say? So that opens to this chapter, which is chapter number 35. So here he starts explaining where he got this knowledge from. And it's quite remarkable where he got this knowledge from. That's one thing that's remarkable. The second thing that is equally remarkable is he remembers all that. A lot of us, and that includes me, might forget what we have discussed in these 30 minutes to come. By the time we woke up to the Prasadam hall, we have forgotten what we have heard. But this Prahlad Maharaj, remembers things that he has heard in the womb of his mother. So we'll not go into that story, and most of you are familiar with this anyway. But when Prahlad Maharaj was in the womb of his mother, Kayadu, right? In the womb of his mother, at that point in time, Narad Muni was giving Krishna consciousness to the mother, and Prahlad Maharaj was in the womb. So at that point in time, when he has heard from Narad Muni, and then fast forward after his birth, and now when he is preaching to his schoolmates, he remembers all that and he tells very, very clearly what he has heard from Narad Muni. This is the power of remembrance of a pure devotee. Because Krishna is in the heart. When Krishna is in the heart, then remembrance becomes very easy. Most of us are still to date fascinated by this fact, or maybe by this question rather than a fact, which is both actually, question and a fact, and that includes again myself. I'm always fascinated. How did Prabhupada translate this? How did he write the purport with no Wikipedia, with no Google, with no immediate emails to cross-check with somebody with something? There was no. Like he just, and that too in the middle of the night. We know what we do in the middle of the night. Brain is not working. By 9 o'clock, I'm telling my kids, or my kid and my wife, to say, please now leave me alone, because I'm getting cranky. It is time to go to bed now. As devotees, we try to knock off by 9, 10 o'clock. So at that time, it's like the brain has stopped functioning pretty much. It's time to retire to bed. At that point in time, and then, add another 3 hours to it, Prabhupada gave us this translation, and he remembers all this in order to write all this. And today when we do our Bhakti Shastri course and our Bhakti Vaibhav course, it's like, how many times we have to read this to get it in our head, yeah? Even the pressure of the exam also doesn't make everything clear to us. Most of the things becomes clear during the exam time, right? Before exam, it's like, chalo, abhi to kuch ho raha hai. It's good story going on. But when the exam comes, the pressure builds up and all the key memory becomes, in our blood. It runs in our blood. But after the exam, it's like, forgotten the philosophy. So like that. But Prabhupada remembered all this. So we can draw that, a comparison between what Prahlad is telling his schoolmates, that how he remembered in the womb of his mother when he had it, to how Prabhupada remembered when he was translating these books for us in the thick of the darkness, in New York. So anyway, so Prahlad tells him that I remember this, this. And then Prahlad is not too interested in telling them his own life story of how he remembers and all that. He gives a synopsis and then moves on back to preaching them Krishna consciousness. And he's telling them that as we advance in Krishna consciousness up to the stage of Rati and Prema and all that, what are the characteristics and symptoms of a devotee? And what are some of the symptoms? That brings us to today's verse. If we just go back one step to yesterday's verse, that's where it starts. Prahlad tells his schoolmates that the symptom of the devotee is that he chants very loudly. It doesn't mean we have to sit here at Mangalarti and chant so loudly that others are disturbed. That's not the point. Chant loudly means that he chants wholeheartedly. He sings Hare Krishna very wholeheartedly. He dances very wholeheartedly. And then he chokes up in his voice, and then in this verse today what he is saying, that they chant in so much of ecstasy, muhu swasha, with so much of heavy breathing, almost like a madman who is haunted by a ghost, oblivious to the social conventions and etiquettes. You with me now? A devotee in an advanced stage when it comes to practicing his Krishna consciousness, he does it so jubilantly that he is, you could say careless, but maybe a better word would be he is not so worried about the social conventions and the social etiquettes. In other words, he is not worried about what others think of him. So I'll read the translation one more time so that you can now visualize what the storyline is going on. When Prahlad is saying this to his schoolmates, what he is exactly saying is a situation, a symptom and characteristics of a devotee who has advanced now. Translation. When a devotee becomes like a person haunted by a ghost, he laughs very loudly and chants the qualities of the Lord. Sometimes he sits to perform meditation. When is this? Sometimes he sits to perform meditation. That's probably our japa time, Mangalarti at home when we are chanting. And he offers respects to every living entity, considering him a devotee of the Lord. Constantly breathing very heavily, he becomes careless of social etiquette and loudly chants like a madman, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, oh my Lord, oh my Master of the universe. So the point here is that what he becomes? Careless to the social conventions and restrictions and what the society norms are. He's in his own Hare Krishna world. And I'll read the purport one more time because it's one sentence and you can relate to this now. When one chants the holy name of the Lord in ecstasy, that is the point. And keep this in mind as well. When we are doing our bhakti in ecstasy, not as a show bottle, we don't have to chant so loudly on the tram that it is annoying to the rest of the passengers. No, that's not the point. No, we have to chant when we are naturally chanting in ecstasy. That is different compared to chanting, as a show off. So, and we'll draw all those examples out. Yeah. So when one chants the holy name of the Lord in ecstasy, not caring for the outward social conventions, it is to be understood that he is Atma-mati. What is Atma-mati? In other words, Prabhupada says, his consciousness is turned inwards towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when our consciousness is inside